Hello dear hungry ones, the prices for kebab and doner have really skyrocketed here. That's why it's worth making them yourself. Aside from that, in this combination, kebab not only looks very delicious and can fill many bellies, but more importantly, this kebab casserole tastes truly delightful. And we need flatbread, which you can easily bake yourself. And there's a video from me linked at the end in the info box below. We need tomato paste and some fresh tomatoes, grated cheese, sour cream, and kebab meat, either frozen or fresh. We'll also need a kebab spice mix, but more on that later. For preparation, simply wash the tomatoes and cut them into small pieces. First, we put the meat in a large pan. I use a braising pan, and depending on how well it's coated, you might want to heat a bit of fat in it beforehand or not. Then thaw and fry the meat at medium temperature for about 8 to 10 minutes, stirring occasionally. In the meantime, let's prepare the spice mix by adding 2 teaspoons into a bowl. Salt, then 1 teaspoon of black pepper, preferably freshly ground, 1 teaspoon of paprika, sweet paprika, also 2 teaspoons of ground coriander, and a bit of cinnamon. 1 teaspoon will add ground cumin, which is very important. 2 teaspoons of it, just a bit of freshly grated nutmeg, really just a pinch, and finally 1 teaspoon of dried mint, or you can use fresh mint. Use about 3-4 leaves, but you'll need to crush everything in a mortar so that the leaves are properly broken down. Now mix everything thoroughly with a spoon or fork, or you can put everything in a small jar, shake it vigorously a few times, and you'll have your finished spice mix. Now, add a teaspoon of it to the sour cream, mix everything together thoroughly. I use a fork for this. Meanwhile, the meat is ready. Stir it again, then add the sour cream to the pan. Also, add the tomato paste and finally the chopped tomatoes. And now mix everything together thoroughly. Increase the heat so that everything comes to a quick boil. Keep stirring constantly, then remove the pan from the heat. Now sprinkle about a handful of grated cheese and stir it in. Next, we need the flatbread, and we'll place the baking dish on top of it, which we'll use shortly. We're planning to use it soon. With a sharp knife, cut off the excess flatbread. Once that's done, then trim the long sides accordingly and cut the remaining flatbread in half horizontally. Horizontally, of course. It's best to use a sharp bread knife. Grease the baking dish lightly and place 1/2 of the flatbread on the bottom. Then we spread the first half of the kebab meat evenly, ensuring a continuous layer. Make sure the meat reaches the corners and cover this layer with the second half of the flatbread. Again, press down and now distribute the remaining half of the kebab meat evenly again. It's easy to do with a spoon, and what's left is to sprinkle grated cheese on top. Add more or less cheese to your taste, but the meat should be covered. And once that's done, our casserole goes into the oven for about 20 minutes. Get 375 F 190C or 350 F 175C with a fan, and if your oven has a rolling heater, feel free to use it in the last few minutes. Ensure the cheese is melted and slightly golden. This gives the dish a nice finish. Enjoy your homemade kebab casserole. And this is how delicious it should look, crispy on top and truly tasty. As you could see, the preparation isn't complicated at all. I wish you lots of fun with it and bon appetit.